Hey YouTube, it's ICU, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Apple TV 3, and even though this only has minor updates, it's still considered the third generation Apple TV. Alright, so what you get in the box is just a simple setup guide and an important information booklet. Alright, so moving on, here's the box, and if you guys want to see my full unboxing, you can check it out down below in the more info. And this is the only other thing it comes with besides the remote is just the power cable. So you just plug it into the back like so, and then you plug the other end into the wall. And once you do that, your Apple TV will instantly power on. Now, like I said, the remote is the second thing that comes with it, and you can use it to actually control your TV. It's very simple, very basic, and the same as its predecessor's remote. And on the back here, you can open it up, and once you do get it open, it reveals a removable battery that you can change out, and this thing has an incredibly long battery life because it doesn't consume much power at all. And unfortunately, you do not get an HDMI cable with the Apple TV 3. This has not changed. So let's switch over here and take a look at the Apple TV. It's actually booting up right now. I just plugged it in, and we're going to zoom in on this, and we're going to wait for it to start up, and then I'll get into the review. And I just wanted to say that this is going to be kind of a quick review. I'll cover as much as I can, but I don't want to go too into depth on it because it's basically just the same exact thing as its predecessor, and it ships with the Apple TV 5.0 firmware. Now, aside from shipping with the new firmware, the only other two differences is that this Apple TV has a single-core A5 processor, whereas its predecessor had a single-core A4 processor. And in addition, this Apple TV can support full HD 1080p. Alright, so now here we are in the main menu, and when you go up to the top, you will notice that you have a carousel of different top movies, and that actually changes depending on which application you're on. And you'll also notice that these applications are very iOS-esque. However, you cannot download third-party applications for the Apple TV, and Apple hasn't announced any plans to introduce third-party app support to the Apple TV. Alright, so now going into movies, when we scroll down, you will notice that you have another type of carousel up here at the top, and down below that it sorts all of the movies. First you have top movies, then new releases, and then below that you have a couple of other different categories, and these swipe through just the same in that type of carousel view. And you'll also notice that when the artwork hasn't loaded completely, it shows an admit one movie ticket. So that hasn't changed either, and that's carried over to the new Apple TV with the new 5.0 Apple TV firmware. Alright, so now let's actually just go into one of these movies. You'll notice that you get the option to preview it, rent it, buy it, add it to your wish list, and if you go to more, you can get a Rotten Tomato review, customer review, and you can see all of the actors in it, as well as the director and producers. And you can also see what other movies they've been a part of. Now going back, we'll take a look at the preview really quick and just let it load up. Now the really great thing is that it doesn't take long at all, especially if you have great Wi-Fi, and as you can tell, it just looks amazing. So this is the 1080p support. I'm just going to fast forward a little bit, and as you can see, the fast forward function works. Going back, you'll also notice that you have a top section and you have purchase to the far left, which actually keeps all of your previous purchases, and you can actually stream them straight to the Apple TV thanks to iCloud integration. You also have a new Genius option, you have genres, and you can search as well. Now you can either do this by using the typical Apple TV remote, which would take you forever because you just have to navigate through the letters, or what you can do is you can use the remote application. I actually have it here on my iPhone. It works for the iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch, and simply connect to it if you have home sharing enabled on it, and then you can use your iDevice to actually type. So let's just search for Pirates, and as you can see, it brings up all of the movies with pirates in the title there. So obviously we have Pirates of the Caribbean, and that is just how the remote's application works, but it doesn't just stop at the keyboard. You can also use it as a replacement to your remote because it has all of the same functions. So let's go to the main menu here using the remote app on my iPhone. As you can see, it works. It also swipes between different applications and functions just by swiping your finger, just how you'd expect it would. And again, you have to enable it via home sharing, and that's home sharing right there. And home sharing also allows you to share your iTunes content with your Apple TV. Now moving over, let's go to TV shows. Basically the same exact type of layout as movies. Again, you have top TV shows, top episodes, and you can scroll between them just how you'd expect you would. So let's look at this one. As you can see, we have an overview of the actual show. We get a list of all the episodes, and we can actually get some more information on it. But let's go ahead and look at a preview of it. Alright, so the preview just finished loading up here, and again this does load really quick, especially if you have fast Wi-Fi. So here we go, the preview is playing. And I just decided to cancel it there using the menu button. Alright, again, you do have more options up at the top. You have purchases, you have Genius, you have basically the same exact things that you have inside of movies, except you also have a TV networks option where you can get different shows that are specific to TV networks. Now, these don't have all the shows that are on the TV networks, obviously, but for certain ones, it does have quite a decent selection. So going back to the main menu here, we also have a couple of other things. Let's look at settings, and you actually have some really awesome settings for this Apple TV. I mean, it's basically the same as before, but I mean, why mess with it? Because they had perfect settings to start with the Apple TV too. So I just decided to scroll through general. I'm not going to go over it. Here are the options, and moving back to the main settings, you also get a couple of different things. Let's take a look at audio and video. And again, you do get a lot of different options for your content playback here, and going inside of TV resolution, as you can see, we do have support for 1080p HD 50 Hz and 1080p HD 60 Hz. Now, mine is at auto detect, and it's automatically detected that my TV is capable of running 1080p at 60 Hz. So that's what it's set to, and auto detection does a really awesome job at detecting what your TV can handle. Moving back here, we have AirPlay, and inside of AirPlay, you can either have it on or off, so you can mirror your iPad or Mac with Mountain Lion, or so you can just watch your content from your iPhone or iPod Touch on your Apple TV. We also have computers, which again, that's how you turn on home sharing, and that's how you can manage your home sharing computers. Now, up at the top, I forgot to mention screensaver. You do have some really great options for screensavers, and you can also control what transitions you want for the pictures of your screensaver, and you can even pick where you want the pictures to come from. And this is really great, especially since you can pick your own pictures via iCloud's photo stream service. Now, that's definitely a really great feature. Moving down to the bottom, you do have the option to put it to sleep, and it will automatically do that after a set period of time. However, I'm just going to simulate what it actually does when it goes to sleep. So it just completely cancels out to save power, and then as soon as you press a button on your Apple TV remote, it will wake up from sleep mode and resume right where you left off. Going back to the main menu here, these are all the applications. I'm not going to read them all, but you can just see what they are, and basically the interface is practically the same throughout all the applications. It's just that really nice, sleek carousel style interface. Now, I'm actually going to bring up my iPad here, and we're going to take a look at AirPlay mirroring. So just by enabling it in the multitasking bar on my iPad here, we can mirror the screen to the Apple TV, and the first thing you'll notice is that the sides are actually cut off. That's because the resolutions don't match. However, if you do switch to watching content on your iPad, then it will switch over to full screen 1080p mode, and that's also the same for certain games. Now, as you can see, it's really fast and responsive. Let's actually just go to my website here and go to this article, and scrolling just works beautifully on this. There's hardly any lag at all. As you can see, it's just smooth, and it's basically real time from my iPad, and when you actually type, it works really well too. Again, as you can see, no lag, it just works, and it works really well. Alright, now switching over here, I have a video on YouTube, and we're gonna play it. And now switching into full screen mode, it takes a second to put it back into full 1080p, and you have the remote section on the iPad now. Again, the remote section allows you to pause it, and you can skip forwards and backwards from it, and you can even scrub along the timeline. As you can see, by letting go, it goes to this certain selection that I picked, and that also works really well, and it doesn't have much lag at all. You can definitely tell that the Apple TV works really great with the iPad and AirPlay mirroring over Wi-Fi. Even though it doesn't have significant upgrades over its predecessor, I definitely recommend it for users who enjoy watching high-quality content on their TVs, because 1080p is actually a big deal, and the single-core A5 processor over the single-core A4 processor actually makes a noticeable speed difference when navigating through menus and when loading up different things. So I would definitely recommend this as an upgrade over the Apple TV 2 if you have a 1080p HD TV. And that concludes my third generation Apple TV review. I hope you guys liked it. Please remember to rate it up if you did, leave any comments down below in the comment section, and subscribe if you aren't already. Until next time, this is ICU signing out.